Once upon a time, everything started.
I had a relationship that lasted about 6 years. It was my first serious relationship. At one point in there, I decided that we should probably break up because I was in college and I thought I should kind of meet new people and try new things. And he was just devastated. And he called me probably every day for a year, just begging me to get back together with him. I dated other people. I did my own thing. I really wanted it to get more serious. He'd always kind of held off, was never ready to take it to the next level. And so he said, okay, I want to get together with you again. I'll move to Texas. I'll do whatever I have to do. This is really serious. I really want us to be together. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I do love him. I always kind of loved him and maybe I should just give it a try. So we got back together. Everything was great. After a while, he just got a little bit more distant, but we planned this trip. So we scheduled this cruise and it was going to be for my birthday. Well, when he got there, he was acting normal. Everything seemed fine. And then we went to dinner and I made some joke about, oh, you know, I have to be careful with all those friends you have at work, you know, those female friends. And he's like, well, I need to talk to you. And I said, are you going to dump me? And he said, well, we just need to talk about it. And I just got mad, like right away. Like I knew he was going to dump me. And I think I was just really mad because he tried so hard to get me back. I'd kind of thrown everything else away. It started before we got on the cruise. It was the night before. We got on the cruise. He started acting like a total jerk. He wasn't really talking to me much. I said, okay, I guess we're breaking up. And he said, yeah, I've never really felt like you were the person I wanted to marry. I've never really felt like you were the person I wanted to be with. I have other things I want to do. You're more of like a fun person to hang out with. And I was mad, but it was like I was still trying to kind of figure out what was going on and trying to make it work. Finally, I just said, I really need to know if you're seeing someone else. And he said, yeah, I've been seeing someone else for a while, someone I work with. And I said, okay, well then, now that I know that, I'm not going to try anymore. It's really over for me. And it really was, but I was just devastated. I mean, I stopped eating. I was on the cruise for 3 days and I did not eat the whole time. The sad thing is he wasn't devastated. He just had fun on the cruise. He went to dinner every night. He got dressed up. He had bought this like really expensive suit and, you know, he just had the time of his life while I was just in the room just crying and crying and crying. The whole thing was really uncomfortable. And he tried to be just out of the room as much as possible. Like he'd come and sleep and that was it. It really irritated him that I wasn't eating. Like I think he felt guilty, but his way of dealing with it was just by being mean. Like at some point I said, you know, don't you understand? I'm really upset about this. And he said, well, I'm not supposed to be here for this. I'm supposed to be gone. And he said, well, would you rather that I had like gone through the whole cruise and we'd had this great time and then I broke up with you? And I said, actually, yeah, that would have been better. And I said, it would have been better if we just hadn't even gone on this cruise because I don't even want to be here. And it's so funny because even after he did it, I said, you know, today is my birthday. And he's like, oh yeah, happy birthday. Like we've been going out for 6 years. It was like this afterthought, like, oh yeah, I forgot it was your birthday. Whoops. Like that's the whole reason we were going on this cruise was for my birthday. I called my parents and asked them to get me a ticket from the island. I just didn't want to be on the cruise anymore. So he ordered cheese and crackers from room service and then he left and they brought the cheese and crackers and I was just sitting there and I was like, you know, I am hungry. I'm going to eat this. I was just already starting to feel a little bit better. And then I was eating the cheese and crackers and right in the middle, there was this just stinky blue cheese. And I don't like blue cheese anyway. And this was like the worst, stinkiest blue cheese I'd ever seen. And I almost got mad about that. I was like, the biggest thing on this plate is something that I hate. I was just starting to get mad. And then a light bulb just went off and I said, you know, I'm just gonna put this blue cheese in David's suit. I'm just so pissed off that he was wearing that suit and talking about that suit. And so I put the cheese, I put half of it in one pocket and half of it in the other, and then I zipped it up. And then it was like, I felt so much better, you know, because I knew it was there and I knew he wouldn't find it for a while. And I was flying home and I was never going to talk to him again, but I could just think about that cheese sitting in the suit the whole way home. It was just like some kind of psychological thing. The next day I got up, we had hit port and I went and like just sniffed the suit and it was just smelling really funky by then. And I left and I just, you know, I was devastated still, but just the whole way home I kind of thought, you know, I got the last word, the last blue cheese. So a couple months later, he sent me a letter through email and it basically said that the girl he was going out with wasn't really interested in him anymore and he just wasn't having a good time and he was so sorry about the cruise and he just said it was the worst time of his life and he just was so devastated about everything. And then the one thing he said about the cheese was he said, the cheese is a nice touch. I don't think that smell will ever come out. And you know, I was still really sad, but I don't know, that stupid little thing with the cheese just made me laugh. And even when I think about it now, it just makes me laugh. A couple days later, I just felt really sad because, you know, after you talk to someone every day and it's just that familiarity. I was missing that a lot, and I was just wanting to call him, and I knew that probably wasn't the best thing. I guess I sort of searched for help so that I wouldn't call him. I think I put in like being dumped or something into the Google, and your site was the first one that came up. And I went to the message boards and I posted, and so many people wrote back, and you wrote back, and I read all of your stories about, you know, it's really important that you don't contact the person, you know, for your healing. I made them my rules. Like every time I wanted to call him, I would just say, no, that's against the rules. I cannot call him. And it helps because I think I healed a lot faster. And I really think when he sent me that letter that we could have gotten back together. In the past, we'd broken up, and he would always come back, and I just thought to myself, this is another one of those, but I'm not dumb enough to go back to someone after they did something like dump me on a cruise, you know, on my birthday. But in the past, I probably would have gotten back together with him. So it was just good to have some guidance and know that, no, it's not really okay to do that. It helped. I think if I hadn't had that, I would have gotten into trouble. I mean, I needed tough love, I think. I would have felt like an idiot if I had gone back, but I felt like I wanted to. And I wanted to just let myself heal from that. I think the most important thing is don't try to contact them. I mean, let yourself grieve for a few days and just stay in bed and cry and not eat or do whatever you have to do for like 3 days. I would give yourself a time limit, but then and every day I would just get out of the house and do something, and you'll feel like crap when you're doing it. But just go for a walk or go to the mall or have a good friend just make you go somewhere. My mom made me go out. You know, we go shopping or we go, you know, sightseeing or whatever. And I was miserable the whole time, but I was really healing when I was out. I just felt like I was part of the world. You know, I wasn't just stuck in this hole by myself. So that's what I would say. Just get out. Make yourself.
Perfection produced imperfection. Oh, it was love. It was love. It was love. It was love. Right to the end.